I'm Rachel Brown.
Hi, I'm Pamela Toscano.
Hi, I'm Jacob Schwartz.
Hi, my name is Gracie Marshall.
Hi, my name is Aiden O'Shea.
Hi, I'm Becky Stiles.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Ocampo.
Hi, I'm Aaron Watts, and welcome to Tufts.
Welcome to Tufts. Welcome to Tufts.
Welcome to Tufts.
Welcome to Tufts.
Welcome to Tufts.
Welcome to Tufts.
Welcome to Tufts, virtually. Welcome to our virtual information session. When you have the chance to come visit our campus and go to a session, you'll hear from one admissions officer. Today, you get to hear from a whole bunch of our members of the team. No two sessions are inherently the same because we all have lots of different stories to share, but hopefully you'll hear the best of from all of our admissions officers here because we care so much about Tufts and we're excited to share this campus with you. Great, let's start with a big picture overview. So Tufts is a medium-sized research university with a liberal arts core. We are located just about 5 miles outside of downtown Boston, and we are comprised of 3 undergraduate programs: the School of Arts and Sciences, the School of Engineering, and the School of the Museum of Fine Arts, which we call the SMFA. We will dive into each of the 3 programs throughout this session, but all of the schools will interact with each other, and we like to say that there are very low walls so that you can take advantage of all of the opportunities at the different programs.
At Tufts, I like to describe us as having a constellation of campuses. First and foremost is our campus here in Medford and Somerville. This is home to the vast majority of our undergraduate students in our colleges of arts and sciences and engineering. It's also home to graduate students in these programs, as well as graduate students in the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. Just outside of downtown Boston, the Fenway neighborhood is what we call Fenway campus. Thanks to its proximity to Fenway Park, this is home to the School of the Museum of Fine Arts at Tufts. Moving into the core of downtown Boston is the Health Sciences campus, where we have students pursuing graduate degrees in medicine, dentistry, nutrition, and biomedical sciences. And then we have a veterinary campus in Grafton, Massachusetts, which is about 30 to 45 minutes west of Boston. While all of these campuses exist separately, have their own distinct programs, what is really great about Tufts and its research university philosophy is that they do all come together, and our undergraduate students have unprecedented access to the resources of these other campuses.
Tufts is located in several different places, as we've already mentioned, but the School of Arts and Sciences and the School of Engineering are on that Medford/Somerville border. It is kind of just tucked away and removed to be a very beautiful residential campus. Hopefully you'll take the online virtual tour to really see our campus and see how beautiful it is. But if you want to get off campus when you just need a little bit of a break, you can go just about 1 mile downhill into Davis Square. This is the heart of Somerville, and there you have so many different fun things you can do. There's a bowling alley, there's an old school movie theater, you have a lot of really terrific restaurants. There's a great ice cream shop, so you can really venture off campus just for an hour or 2 with your roommates or with your friends. And if you want to go even a little bit farther, you can hop on the subway. We are right along the red line of the MBTA, which is our subway system, and in about 6 stops you can be right in the heart of Boston. Boston is a really fun place to be a college student. It grants you opportunities to do internships, to pursue research opportunities, to look for jobs. And Boston is a very young, vibrant, fun, walkable city. You can cheer on the Red Sox, you can cheer against the Red Sox, you can go to other sporting events, you can walk the Freedom Trail, which is 16 historical sites. There are a lot of great museums in the city of Boston, so it's a really fun place to be a college student, and our Tufts students try to venture off campus as often as they can.
Here at Tufts, we really prescribe to a liberal arts philosophy. That means we want our students to engage with a wide variety of different subjects and also take a deep dive into the thing that they're really passionate about. We believe in this because we want our students to be successful in whatever field that they go into after they graduate.
We're going to talk about the curriculum of the School of Arts and Sciences now. So at the School of Arts and Sciences, students have kind of 3 main components to their education. The first part is choosing a major. Luckily, students here have 3 semesters before they have to declare a major, so whether you are completely sure of what you want to study or you have no idea, you have a chance to really explore, dip your toes in the water of a subject you've never tried out, so that you can confidently pick your major when the time comes. When you choose a major, it's about 12 to 14 classes or so. Students take around 32 to 34 to graduate, so you get to do a deep dive into that major, but then you'll supplement it with other classes. If you talk to 2 students who are studying the same major, you'll find that there's a lot of flexibility even within the major, so those students will have wildly different courses, although they will all have a really solid foundation in that major. It is very common at Tufts for students to double major. Sometimes you'll find students who are triple majoring, and then students will also sometimes pursue minors as well. These can be very related to each other, or they can be wildly different. So first you have the major. The second requirement of students at the School of Arts and Sciences are distribution requirements. This is 10 classes that span the 5 major academic areas. Like we mentioned earlier, this is designed to push students out of their comfort zone so that they get a broad education. These classes are really great because they are pulling students from different academic areas into the same classroom. So you might be taking a humanities course with computer science majors, with political science majors, and they're all bringing their different viewpoints to talk about the same material. These classes, the 5 different categories, you have anywhere from 20 to 40 options to fulfill those requirements. So if you are a humanities student and you are a little bit nervous about stepping out of your comfort zone into fulfilling a math requirement, don't worry, we've got a lot of really great options. One option is, one example is called Math of Social Choice, and it's looking at mathematics behind political movements. Another example is if you are more of a STEM person, nervous about humanities classes, one example of a distribution class is the art of Japanese film. So those are some examples of distribution classes you can take. You have the major, about 12 to 14 classes. You have your 10 classes for distribution, and then the final requirement at the School of Arts and Sciences is 6 semesters of language study. Students might test out of some of those requirements based on their proficiency or fluency from high school or from growing up, but all students will come in and study languages because this is a very powerful way to communicate with different people. One other way that you can break that down is 3 semesters of foreign language study and 3 culture classes. We have a number of offerings for language study, and it is, again, a core part of the curriculum because we want our students to be global citizens.
Now we're going to talk about our School of Engineering. The School of Engineering operates a little bit differently from the School of Arts and Sciences. It is based on a much more solid foundation of math, natural science, and engineering science coursework that prepares our students to be engineers in a dynamic world. The way that students will kind of enter into the School of Engineering is in this philosophy of a really hands-on and collaborative-based experience. We know that engineers learn best by building things, by breaking things, by taking things apart and putting them back together again, and we want to bake that into the curriculum for their entire time in our program. When students arrive on campus, their major is undecided. Our engineering students have until March of their 2nd semester to declare their major. So a little bit faster than in the School of Arts and Sciences, but we want to set them up with the resources that help them get into that major track much more quickly.
To piggyback on what Erin told you about our School of Engineering, a few things I want to point out is that our engineering school is really small. We only have about 900 total students in the School of Engineering, so in one class that might be somewhere from 200 to 250 students. That's tiny, and we think that is really wonderful as that allows our curriculum to be very hands-on and very, very collaborative. And I think this plays a very big part in that first-year engineering experience.
The first year in the engineering curriculum is going to be based on calculus, physics, chemistry, and engineering science coursework that helps people refine their interest. Maybe you're someone who knows exactly what you want to study right from the get-go, or maybe you're someone who wants to try out a couple of different things, play around a little bit, and learn about different disciplines before deciding what you want to study. And that's totally fine. We encourage that here.
We're not sort of throwing you to the wolves in that first year. We really love to say that we meet students where they are. And a big part of that are these special topics in engineering courses, or EN1, as we call it in shorthand. These are introductory engineering courses that each department will offer that allows students to really just get some hands-on experience in that first semester. You guys are engineers, so we hope that you are actually engineering something in that first year. Also, as Erin mentioned, our engineers, they don't declare their major until the end of their freshman year. So you just pick whatever class sounds the coolest to you, regardless of what you actually intend to major in at the end of the year.
So at Tufts, there's really no one way to be an engineer. We have students come in who just know, hey, I really like math and science, and maybe I want to impact broader communities around me. And then they gravitate towards the world of engineering. And then we have kids who have been coming in who just love Arduinos and love tinkering. And there was one student whose parents were even gracious enough to let him turn their garage into just a blacksmithing area. So there really is no one way to do engineering. I would say though, common themes among our engineers are They are nice, they are humble, they are collaborative, they're very socially conscious. Engineering certainly, and learning doesn't really happen in a bubble, so our students want to understand, okay, what am I doing in these spaces at Tufts, but then how is what I am doing impacting broader communities? What are those ripple effects?
At the end of this entire engineering experience, people will complete a senior capstone course. This course not only focuses on the technical aspects of completing a project, but also the 5,000-foot design level that encourages students to think about, is this project something that someone will want to use?
Let's talk about art. So here at Tufts, we have the School of the Museum of the Fine Arts, which is connected to the Museum of the Fine Arts. It actually has the second largest collection of art in the United States, and our students here at Tufts, both in the School of the Museum of the Fine Arts and our other undergraduate schools, are able to engage with all of the resources they have there at the museum. So at the SMFA, we offer 2 different degree programs. We offer the 4-year BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, or the 5-year combined degree program, where you'll come out of your college experience with both a Bachelor of Fine Arts and a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science degree. The combined degree students will split time between both campuses, and we have all of our arts classes at the School of the Museum of Fine Arts are open to students on our other undergraduate campuses here at Tufts. We highly encourage students to take advantage of all the classes in the different schools and really utilize the low walls that we have here. So the School of the Museum of the Fine Arts is unique in that all students do not have a major. They are able to design their own course of study, and we really want that education to be pushed by the ideas that they're trying to convey through their art, not through just the medium that they want to use. So we really want our students to branch out and try different things, use different mediums that they've never used before, and really try and combine them to convey whatever idea they want through their art. We also want our students to be thinking about how their art is going to impact the local community and the broader global community around them. Seniors at the SMFA will wrap up their education with a senior capstone project that will include research, writing, and of course some art making. That senior capstone project is actually going to conclude in a really awesome public exhibition that all of our seniors look forward to. For more information on the School of the Museum of the Fine Arts, please feel free to visit our website, check out the SMFA website online, check out the view book.
One of the great opportunities here on the Tufts campus is the Tisch College of Civic Life. This is kind of more of a department on our campus. It's not an actual college, although they do host a number of classes, and they also offer one of our newest majors, which is Civic Studies. But students will interact with Tisch through a number of ways during their 4 years here on campus. Sometimes it's as simple as going to hear one of the Tisch Distinguished Speaker Series events. In recent years, they've had Ayanna Presley come to campus, Sonia Sotomayor. They're always hosting a really great lineup of speakers here. Other ways to engage with Tisch is, like I said, taking classes, or students can apply freshman or sophomore year to be a Tisch Scholar. These are students who are very passionate about different social causes. They get linked up with nonprofits in the local area to take on projects. It requires some field work as well as participating in a seminar where they talk about the projects that they're taking on. They are Tisch Scholars for the remainder of their time, and it culminates in the capstone project.
So one of my favorite stories of a Tisch Scholar is actually Luna. She was an interdisciplinary studies major, which basically means she was combining political science and film and media studies and Africana studies. So her project really centered around Somali women and uplifting the voice of Somali women. So she was interviewing women in Maine, which was her hometown, London, where she studied abroad, and also here at Tufts, or in the city of Boston. So the way she looked at her major, but also her project, was academia from an art space. So she actually created a multimedia exhibit showcasing the voices of Somali women in relation to water. So how their various roles as women interacted with water or overlapped with that.
One other important thing to mention when it comes to Tisch College are opportunities that first-year students can take advantage of, and those are the first-year global programs. Tisch offers 2 of these programs. The first is basically like a sponsored gap year. This is the 1+4 bridge year program. There are a number of locations that you can find on our website. So you would apply at the same time as applying to Tufts or after you've been admitted. And this is a fully funded year abroad. If you're on any type of financial aid, it is totally free. You go to one of the different locations and you're doing service work while you're there, and then you come back and you do your 4 years at Tufts. So it's the 1 service year plus 4 years at Tufts. The second program is very new and very exciting. It is called the Tufts Civic semester. This is basically like studying abroad your freshman fall. And there, again, are a couple of locations that are being posted on the website. You apply at the exact same time as the 1+4 program, and this is going to one of the different locations for your freshman fall. It doesn't slow you down in terms of 4 years as a Tufts student, and then you come back and rejoin the campus community for your freshman spring. Check out some blogs, check out their website. Some students are doing some really cool work through these programs.
45% of our junior class studies abroad, and we do have Tufts options and non-Tufts programs. So students who want to go through a Tufts sponsored program, that's kind of what I did. It was advantageous for me to go through a Tufts program because my financial aid transferred and all of your credits and GPA transfers. So let's say you're very strong in Spanish. If you get all A's in Spanish, all your GPA would transfer over. I was able to have the opportunity to have a fully funded trip to study abroad in Hangzhou, China through the Tufts in China program. It was a great program because we do have a residential kind of a guide for you, and we were able to visit parts of China that were not really visited by a lot of travelers. So that's an advantage to doing a Tufts program, but then again, I had a lot of classmates and friends who did a non-Tufts program. Tufts has a lot of pre-approved programs that your credits will transfer, and so either way, if there's a country that we don't necessarily have a partnership with, students are still able to study abroad. And I think either way, whether you're considering studying abroad either during the semester for a full year or over the summer through a Talwar program, I think studying abroad is an amazing opportunity where really your priority is just to study. And Tufts allows students, even if you are an engineering student or if you're a STEM student, the ability to study abroad. And I think it's crucial, honestly, to study abroad.
Throughout this virtual session, you've probably heard a lot of buzzwords, but two that I bet you've heard a lot is this idea of intellectual playfulness as well as interdisciplinary learning. And I think nowhere else on our campus is this sort of blasting at you full force, but our experimental college, or the X College as we call it for short. So this is this very sort of quirky, uniquely Tufts department that houses classes that don't traditionally fall into pre-existing majors and minors. This is a space on campus where local professionals might come to teach classes. Graduate students can teach these courses as well as undergraduate students. So I'll give you two examples of my favorite X College classes, one of which was taught by a professional, another by a Tufts student. So a couple of years ago, I'm dating myself a bit, this was back in 2016, someone named David Gregory came to Tufts to teach a class. David Gregory, he was once a host of the political talk show Meet the Press. He was also NBC's former chief White House correspondent when George W. Bush was in office. So he came to Tufts the fall of 2016 to teach a class that looked at the intersection of political campaigns and the media. And if you were a film and media studies major or a political science major, you could take this class and it would count towards your major, just like any other course at Tufts, right? The department heads, they go through that X College list every semester because the classes are different every semester, and check those boxes for those classes that seem very in line with the curriculum within that major, right? So that is one really awesome class taught by someone that has a lot of knowledge in the field, right? But as I said, you can also take a class taught by a peer of yours, right? And I think this is what is so special about the experimental college is that it gives students the opportunity to just take something that they love, find the academic underpinnings, and share it with the rest of the community. So I'm going to give you a little example of one of these classes. So this class was called Growing Up at Hogwarts, Young Adult Literature and Adolescent Identity, right? You can take a class about Harry Potter. How cool. So I'll read you a little bit of the description to give you a little flavor for what this class was about. So it says, how does young adult literature affect adolescent development and sense of identity? What do we learn from Harry's fight against Voldemort and Katniss's resistance against the Capitol? What does dystopia teach us about whom we could be if given the chance? With the help of psychological literature and popular media, we will find out how these books speak to us at different stages of development, using Erickson's stages of psychosocial development as a backbone for the course. Right? So a perfect example of students just finding something that they love, in this case it's youth fiction, things like Harry Potter, The Hunger Games, and finding, like I said, those academic underpinnings. For them it is Erickson's psychosocial stages of development, right? Pulling in things like child development and psychology. My favorite part about this example is that this was taught by 2 pre-med students who just like have this side hustle love of youth fiction, right? I think that's very Tuftsy to have these interests that lie maybe in very different spheres, right? But to find a way to bring them together and share them with the rest of the community. Very intellectually playful and interdisciplinary.
Tufts students have that intellectual edge, that kind of intellectual curiosity. They're kind of curious about the world around them and how it works and how their position is within that world. But more broadly, they take their academics and their intellectualism seriously, but they don't take themselves seriously, and they're excited to discuss the physics of frisbees over white cheddar grilled cheeses because that's a fun thing to do. Intellectual playfulness is all about having cool, interesting conversations about cool, interesting things with cool, interesting people, and that just really creates a really fantastic community of people and learners who surround yourself for 4 years. Again, this is kind of something that spills out beyond the kind of broad kind of campus classroom and kind of permeates campus life. Tufts students are really intellectually playful.
So one of the questions that I get a lot of is, can I do research my first year on campus? The answer is yes. I do usually recommend to my advisees, maybe you should wait till second semester so you can learn how to do college first and then dive into the landscape of researching. But the really nice thing about a school like Tufts is that, again, we are both a research university and a liberal arts college. So what that means is we are focusing a lot of our time and energy on our undergraduate students. The majority of students on our Medford-Somerville campus are undergraduates, which means that our faculty really lean into undergrads to be in their research groups and in their lab spaces. All that it takes, hand on my heart, to get involved in research on this campus is talk to a professor. Say, you're doing something really cool, can I get involved in what you are researching and what you are doing? 9 out of 10 times, if that faculty member has a spot in their research group, they are going to like latch onto you, especially first and second year students, because then they get to mold you over 4 years into a mini-me, and you know exactly how they like things to be done. In fact, I think it's 60% of our undergrads actually participate in research by the time they graduate. And when I say research, don't just imagine pipetting. Don't just imagine, oh, I'm in a lab with a little coat and that's all that I'm doing. Research extends from those hard sciences, from engineering, all the way into the humanities. If you are a student who just really wants to study how definitions and understandings of gender roles in Gothic literature evolved over that era, you can do that. If you are someone who is very into, I don't know, those hard sciences and you want to go all in with theoretical math, do that. But again, there's no really one defined way to research at Tufts. We have students doing it in every single discipline that we have here. We also have this really cool thing called summer scholars. So if you are an undergrad and you have an idea for something that you want to research independently, like your own thing, you apply for this program, and if you get it, you get to spend 10 weeks on our campus, and you just get to go to town researching that one thing that you are really excited to research, and you get $3,500 as a living stipend. You get $1,000 for your research, and then your faculty mentor also gets $1,000. So again, for that time, your full-time job is researcher, and it's something of your own design. And for many students, that actually ends up turning into their senior honors thesis, or just a project that they work for a long period of time over at Tufts.
We had a student this past summer 2019. She was one of our summer scholars. This student is a senior. She's working on her senior thesis right now. She's a double major in education and women and gender studies. So this past summer, she was working with an education professor at Tufts, and she was doing research in the Medford and Somerville public school systems, investigating gender disparities in the public education system right here in our community, right here around Tufts. So if you really care about Boston, the local Medford-Somerville community, and you form a connection there during your 4 years, great, you can apply your work to that setting. Or maybe you're an environmental studies major and you care about global environmental policy, a much bigger scale community. It's kind of up to you how you define that, but Tufts students really kind of have that inclination to, again, engaging and rooting their work in the classroom and in the research labs to their greater communities.
It's our hope throughout this whole college search process that you're able to identify campuses where you really like the people there, right? These are folks that you're going to spend 4 years with in the classroom, in the dining hall, in the dorms, and other social spaces. So the hope is that they are a good fit for you.
Tufts students are so kind. It almost feels silly for me to bother mentioning this as one of the 5 things that you should know about Tufts students, but every single time that I interact with a Tufts student, I'm always so struck by how darn kind and nice and genuine and friendly and down to earth they are. And I think it's important to spend 4 years of college around nice people.
As a prospective student, I was invited to Tufts through Voices, and I just noticed the Tufts community being very welcoming and supporting. I went to the culture show, and there were students there who were not necessarily high school students, but who were just Tufts students supporting their friends. And I saw that sense of community and sense uplifting each other throughout my 4 years at Tufts. As an alum, I reflect, and I was very grateful to have that community, especially coming from far away. I think I saw that in not only my classes, like having at least one familiar face as I went through my classes, but also just in the social spheres of campus. You're very much encouraged to go outside of your comfort zone, and you'll be supported when you do that.
So at Tufts, we like to say that it's cool to be smart. This is a campus where our students are very intellectually powerful, yet playful at the same time. We are much, much more collaborative in nature than sort of cutthroat competitive. One of our Tufts professors, he likes to describe our Tufts students as smart, creative, outgoing, but without the ego. And I think this last piece really stems from the example that our professors set. Our professors are really wonderful and cool people. They do some really awesome research. Obviously, they are here to impart wisdom upon the youth, but they're also really great resources in terms of things like research and internships. But more than anything, they just want to get to know our Tufts students as people. So because of that, we have a population of students who have a lot of respect for their professors, right? They take their schoolwork quite seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously.
We have a lot of traditions at Tufts, and 2 of my favorite ones would be, the first one is the illumination ceremony. So your first day on campus at night, everyone gathers on the bottom of the hill, and we are the light upon a hill. So we have a little candle, and everyone lights each other's candle, and by the end of the ceremony, the whole hill is lit up, and you kind of take a look around yourself and see the people that you were with your freshman year. And then we do it again our senior year, and we're actually at the top of the hill. So we, I guess, graduated from the bottom to the top, and we do the same ceremony. And it is interesting to see the people that you surround yourself with your senior year. It's just overall a sense of warmth on campus, and it's very nostalgic. My second favorite one would probably be painting the cannon. Although I have not painted the cannon, a lot of my friends just talk about the sense of like pride you feel when you see your artwork walking through campus. It's a great way to know kind of what's going on around campus. You might be introduced to new clubs, or like you might have the opportunity to shout out a special event, or when I was doing tours, the cannon was painted for like a marriage proposal. So either way, it's a great way to kind of showcase expression, and a way for our students to remain civically engaged and just like active in their voice and showcase it through art.
I think one of the things students worry about when they're thinking about going to college is how they're going to make friends and how are they going to find community. At Tufts, a lot of our students find community and find home through the extracurricular groups that they join. We have over 300 different groups, and that spans journalism, that spans performing arts, cultural groups, athletics, really whatever you're looking for, you can probably find at Tufts. We have some very obscure groups, some groups of very niche interests, but in those groups students find peers who have similar interests to them, so they can really bond over their shared activities. Students also find really great pre-professional experience. We are not a pre-professional school, but you'll find groups like Engineering Without Borders or the Pre-Law Society. These are groups that can really prepare students for once they graduate. So students stay very busy. They really pursue a lot of different interests outside of their classroom through these extracurricular groups, and it really enhances their overall Tufts experience.
As a Tufts alum, when I was looking for activities here on campus, there was a really big activities fair with all of the student organizations at the beginning of my freshman year. That's actually where I found out that Tufts had an all-female step team, which I had never stepped before in my life, but it was something that I found as a home and as a community here on campus over the course of my 4 years.
At Tufts, housing is guaranteed for your first and second years. Your first year, you don't really get to say where you live. We have an uphill dorms and downhill dorms. Either way, all of the freshmen are living together, and again, their sophomore year, all sophomores are living together. We do have the option for sophomores to live in special interest housing, and that includes if you want to live in an identity-based center housing. So we have, for example, La Casa, we have the Chinese house, we have houses either for cultural identities or for students who want to practice a specific language. We also have Greek life housing, so if you are a part of a fraternity or sorority, you have the ability to live in that housing starting your sophomore year, and then as your junior and senior year, students have the option to live off campus. You'll see that because more students are living off campus, it kind of alleviates the demand for on-campus housing. So if you are a junior or a senior that requires a dorm or on-campus housing, you'll typically see that your request will be fulfilled. We do have an all-senior year dorm. It's called Sophia Gordon. So you do see some seniors and juniors sticking around on campus. I was a full needs student, and so I really required housing all 4 years at Tufts, and I was able to find housing all 4 years at Tufts despite it only being required for 2 years. Let's talk about dining. At Tufts we have 2 major dining halls, and you'll typically hear a rivalry going between the 2. The first one that I'll talk about is Carmichael Dining Hall, and although they both serve similar food, they have a different vibe. So Carmichael, when you first walk in, it's one story, and it's special for its famous specialty nights. So at Carm, you'll probably see a lot of students lining up for the stir fry, or for wing nights, or for the omelet bar, the smoothie bars. Carm is a little bit smaller, so you will see students just studying by themselves or doing any special group projects together, versus DeWitt, which is a lot larger. So it's 2 floors, and it does have a little bit more options. This year they installed a new kosher section, and it's typically where students go to socialize. It is a little bit more active, but either way, both of our dining halls serve great foods, and it's catered to students who have dietary restrictions.
Thank you so much for watching this virtual information session. We hope you walk away from this session learning about the campus vibe, what it's like to be a student here, but we also recognize that we are the admissions team, and a lot of your research should really focus on the student voice and the student story. So we try to put that into your hands through student blogs, through our admissions magazines, and by trying to put you in contact with current students. They are the ones living this experience, and so we hope that you take it a step further to really get to know this wonderful institution that many of us are so proud to represent. So with that said, thanks so much for watching again, and have a great day.